All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you, just like me. All right, this is going to be a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, but a few articles and some things that folks have sent me, plus the fact that I continue to promote this album. It's called Be Right Here. The band is Blackberry Smoke. This is a band that has become very popular without any radio support, because that's really the only way you can do things these days. If you're playing classic rock, southern rock, real R&B, traditional country music, you can't rely or even think about the radio. You can't even rely on the fact that you're going to get press coverage. Okay, so you put this music out. This decentralized way of doing music, I think, has been good in some ways, but it's been a disaster in some other ways. And it's not going to get any better. And others are picking up on this, like Rick Beato has done some videos on this. And this cyclical thing with rock and roll, R&B and hip hop. Friend of mine sent me a country song to listen to. It's a new country song. And he asked the rhetorical question, what about this song is country? And I'm like, maybe the subject matter. I mean, it had one of those license plate shaker beats going on in there. And I was like, oh man. This is either bad R&B or, it's attempting to be kind of hip hop when it's not. And I don't understand how these things are merging. I don't understand it. Pop, hip hop, country, R&B, all that stuff is now one mess. It's just one pile of goo on the sidewalk. And I'm sorry. I mean, these might be talented singers. We don't know, because there's so much going on with vocal effects these days and the way they do production. Could this person stand on a stage with a guitar and be good? That would be a question to ask. Probably not. I mean, it's just a show, Dave. Just let it go. It's just a show. Everything is just a show now. Politics is a show. Everything is a show. So I was triggered because I saw a couple of other things. Black Crowes have the Black Crowes have two new songs out there from a brand new album called Happiness Bastards. I don't usually like to say, those kinds of words, but I just like the way those two words go together. Happiness Bastards. So I've got a new song out called Wanting and Waiting, and it's really good. And it should be on the radio. Will it be on the radio? No. Tesla, the band Tesla, remember them? They're going to drop a new single this summer. It's called All About Love. Will they be on the radio? No. But what's weird is classic rock radio stations keep reporting on bands like the Black Crowes and Tesla. And then the icing on the cake was to see an article about Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. Holy crap, Batman. No band has ever been thrown under the bus harder than Cinderella. Yeah, I know they broke up and there were some issues, and Tom Kiefer's out there, and I'm pretty sure he had problems keeping the name of the band and so forth. I don't know the whole story about Tom. All I know is that I went to go see Bon Jovi in 1990, hung out with him and Richie Sambora for a little while. I didn't want to miss Cinderella. They were opening up. I literally left the conversation and said, you know what? I'm a huge Cinderella fan. And those guys were like, we are too. Have a great time. And I said, you bet. And Cinderella was at their peak at that time. I don't know what happened. I mean, I do know what happened because I've told the story here how the music industry destroyed bands like Cinderella, Destroyed. You're happy. You're having a good time at the show. You like the music. In a couple of years, you won't be coming to these shows anymore. Why? What's going to happen? In 2 years, the music is really going to suck. And we're going to be responsible for it. Not you. You didn't do anything to make the music change. We did it. But what's even more tragic now is that radio stations who might, I don't even think the radio station that interviewed Tom Kiefer is playing a lot of Cinderella. I can almost guess that they're not. They probably had to look through their archives and download a couple of tracks because they had nothing in their library to come out of the commercial break and play some Cinderella. For crying out loud, nobody plays Cinderella. What a great band, forgotten about. So that one really triggered me. What motivates Tom Kiefer to talk about creating new material, new music from Tesla? Why? Why bother? The Black Crowes. Hey guys, what keeps you guys going? I mean, I'm sure they're doing shows where the audience, because of all of the memory holding that's gone on, is like, yeah, play your 3-hit songs or play your 2-hit songs. Because again, I always talk about focus testing, and I don't even think it's focus testing anymore. I use that expression in a generic way. I think it's outright blocking, banning. I don't think they're asking anybody any questions. Because if they would play the music that they used to play, I'm sure they could create a #1 classic rock radio station in the world, a terrestrial classic rock radio station that played Cinderella, that played the Black Crowes, that played Tesla. Those are 3 great examples. And when these guys came out with music, they would put that in there as well. And you'd hear all of the older classic material as well. So it wouldn't be like, stepping into outer space with no spacesuit. I mean, they make it out like, oh no, you might have to sit through a song that you don't know. Well, they do that on pop stations. They do that with hip hop, R&B, even Christian radio, for crying out loud, has a format where they'll drop new songs and they'll tell you who it is. Remember that old thing they used to do years ago? Back selling, telling you what you just heard, or front selling. Okay, brand new song from so-and-so. You're going to love it. Brand new music from Blackberry Smoke. Who? That's what the average person would do right now. Who's Blackberry Smoke? Oh, I don't know. But they're good. You should listen to them. Yeah, I'm going to switch the station. I've been trained to just like the same 4 songs. I've been trained to listen to Don't Stop Believin' Again. I want to know what love is. And we're just going to talk about these old songs. That's all we're going to do. And by the way, you don't back sell or front sell the old music anymore. The music has just become a prop for advertising, public service announcements, entire radio shows devoted to your health and wellness. Like I said before, this is just ridiculous. Like the music is salt or something to season whatever else is going on, but it's not the star of the show anymore. It's nice that John Tesh has a show where he can tell people, how to lower their blood pressure or, keep their stress level down. That's nice. An entire show devoted just to that over and over again. Any topic, I don't care how important it is, unless he's doing a show about how you can boost your natural immunity. And he's talking about that like every minute of every show. I might be interested in helping syndicate that show. But anyway, folks, I had some notes. I went off script here. I tend to do that. So I said in the notes here that something is inherently wrong with what's been happening for decades now. And I've been talking about it for years. So decentralized music sounds like a good thing, right? Means no corporate listening experience, though. The corporate listening experience, the communal, if you want to use a real controversial word, it's like communism. The communal experience we all had growing up was an experience that we hold dear. We cherish those memories. What were you doing in 1984 when this song came out? I remember the summer of 1983 and what I was listening to and what concerts were going on. And, you know, those experiences, we all went through it together. So I have memories of certain things. I have friends that have memories of certain things that they did. And we can compare our experiences, and we lived through it. And it was a glorious time to be a fan of great music. Whereas now, it's like beggars walking around on the street. Hey, any classic rock in this garbage can? Nope. Well, go to the next one. You know, maybe they threw some in here. I mean, there's just nothing that brings us together anymore. Yes, I understand. Maybe this is why people will go to a concert together, not, you know, calling one another and saying, hey, you want to go to so-and-so, but they show up and there's an immediate connection, this camaraderie there. Even if the person they're going to see has lost their fastball and can barely walk out to the pitcher's mound. And so I look at this and it's like the last remnant of the classic rock world. And I keep talking about this, and nobody is going to replace or continue. Of course, there are bands out there who have built their own followings. But as far as a corporate or communal experience, yeah, that's over. You know, yeah, if you like today's mainstream rock, the doom, the depression, the gloom of what's playing over on active rock or mainstream rock right now, more power to you. You're having an experience for sure. It's not a fun experience, but you're at least getting new songs and you're getting, you know, like an evolving playlist as time goes on. Whereas if you're over on classic rock, the playlist is shrinking and shrinking and nobody has any imagination. Hey, there's a deep cut over there. Did you ever think of putting that one on? Nope. People will change the station. We've done focus testing on this. We're smarter than you. Or we're a big corporate radio entity and we really don't care about the individual listening experience. We just beam it out there and the advertisers have already signed on with us. So we're good. You know, screw how the product is. It doesn't matter. So this is, you know, a monopoly of some kind because the mom and pops, if you could get a mom and pop station in a major market that really shuffled up their playlist and really had, you know, hardcore programming elements where you'd have a music director, a program director, and they'd be battling it out and they'd be trying to almost like a recipe come up with the greatest cake, you know, the greatest frosting, greatest top of the hour songs, the greatest bottom of the hour songs, you know, and much like a concert, the way they structure a concert where they don't, you know, shoot the wad right away. They get the audience kind of into it and then they build it up and you've listened for a full hour and where did the time go? That used to be the way radio was. You were excited about what they were going to do next. You cared. You waited for the DJ to tell you. But now it's a joke. You know, I don't really care what's going on at the Rotary Club. I don't really care that the Harry Chapin Food Bank, no matter how amazing they are, is running another food drive today. We know. And the people who need that can go on their website and check it out. Or if you're going to do that little segment, you know, shorten it up a little bit. Get back to the music. Tell us about what you're playing. Don't just tell us about what's going on in the community. I mean, radio has just become like a bulletin board. There's no, I mean, might as well just go over to talk radio. I mean, talk radio was big for a while, and I think it's still big. But if you're just going to do a lot of talking and not a lot of music playing, you might as well just, go for it. And the music to me is just getting in the way of what you really want to do. So I think that many of these folks do this really because they just love music. I'm talking about artists like this. They love to create music. They come up with great musical ideas, and they want to share their music with the world. That's raw passion and creativity. Because there's not especially to sell a CD or to stream anything, there's no profit motive. I mean, the profit motive is really just the concerts. You can make a lot of money playing concerts, but you have to have people hear the music in order for them to go to the concert and have the kind of experience we all used to have. And yes, bands like Blackberry Smoke, they're definitely doing that. But there aren't a lot of those bands. There's a whole jam band circuit, which I don't talk about out there, but it runs around the country with no radio airplay whatsoever, and thousands of people show up, and then they buy their show at the end. They go to a table and they either purchase a CD or an MP3 of the show that they just went to. Brilliant idea, brilliant, like a keepsake you can keep going back to. I was at that show. They created a communal experience for their fans. That's amazing. And I totally understand that. Now, a lot of people who grew up listening to the music I listen to, they would probably be bored out of their mind at a jam band concert. Or they'd like the music, but it's not stuff that you can kind of sing along to, maybe in little parts, but it's all about the music. It's all about the instrumentation, the guitar player jamming out, playing off the keyboardist, doing all that kind of cool stuff, which I enjoy. I don't know if I would like going to a jam band concert because I might get bored too, but I like listening to them. If you're doing something around the house, you hear these guys do an 18-minute version of a song they originally cut, and it was like 3 or 4 minutes long. It's fun. That's cool. And so that's the answer in a way to the lack of radio attention that some very talented people should be getting. They're not going to get. And the only thing that really inspires them is probably just their group of close-knit fans who love music more than they love the commercial breaks or the bulletin board. And they find workarounds. People always tell me, hey, just make a Spotify playlist. I get that. But your playlist is different than mine. So what does that mean? Well, it means that, we can't share that experience that we used to share on radio, 40 years ago, where we would all just wait for Casey Kasem, or, if we were listening to a rock station where the DJ had the freedom to play an album track off of a brand new record that just came out. The record label is pushing a song, but the DJ says, you know what? I just listened to this album and I like this track, and here we go. Boom. And everybody in, 100-mile radius of that 50,000 watt transmitter is hearing that song for the first time. You just can't replace that. So, yeah, that's kind of what my video is about. We're not getting this back, and the communal experience can never be replaced. And yeah, I can tell people about new stuff, and people appreciate that. But the mentality of the casual fan and the music fan in general moving forward, it's moving away from this love of great music to just love of a show, love of a I don't know. It's removed from music though. It's like when Kiss does a concert, people say to me, "It's about the show, Dave." I go, "What about all this music that they made?" You know, it's great that there are pyrotechnics and all kinds of things going on when you go to the show and you get treated to all of that. But if you don't have good music to back it up, then again, it devolves into any kind of a show. So I'm hoping that maybe somebody with deep pockets would create a network of radio stations where the talent, the DJs and the program director and the music director would work together and create something that would spark interest in music again, rather than sparking interest in the show or how many commercials can we cram into a stop set. I mean, there's got to be more to this. I mean, most of us got into this when we started because we loved music and we pretended to be the guy or the woman who is responsible for sharing that music with people, announcing that that music is heading your way, and trying to do it in a creative manner, but never getting in the way of why people turned or tuned into radio. So, yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. Check out Blackberry Smoke. Be right here. You know, one of the reasons I'm promoting this is when I listen to it, I'm like, this is just, it's ridiculous that nobody is playing this. This should be top 10. Should be one of the great rock albums of 2024. We'll see. There are other bands coming out with new albums. I mentioned the Black Crowes being one of them. So we'll see how that goes. And then I've got new stuff all around me here in the studio that I promote, and people ask me questions about it. And I go, yeah, if you're tired of listening to Foreigner 4, you know, it's a great album, but at some point you might want to hear something new. So you can check out those recommendations here. I'll continue to do them somewhat unenthusiastically though, because people just, they don't seem to care. So just being honest. All right, I am done with this video. Before I go, please, Patreon and also YouTube members, everything is down. Revenue is down, and you know, I understand the economy isn't great, and we're in a political year, so maybe the political advertising will pick up at some point and help me out. But if you can help me out, $1 or $2 a month, and I'm going to have a coffee tip jar or something like that coming soon if I can figure out how to do it. In the meantime, folks, God bless you. Please pray for peace in the Middle East and around the world, and I will see you soon.